All right. Hi, hello, everyone. Welcome to my room. We're going to talk about my French horn rotation for the first 3 weeks of the semester and answer some questions about my experience playing horn for 3 weeks. First of all, I'm jumping into playing horn for the whole semester, which is exciting because for Young Winds, we don't have any horn players whatsoever. And I felt really good about how this rotation went, and so I decided, hey, I guess I'll double on this. So that's exciting because I really did enjoy the rotation. And I had a feeling that I was going to like horn a lot, which is good and bad because like it's not my primary and I should really be focusing on trumpet playing, especially going into the summer. But on the flip side, this is going to be really beneficial for being a music educator and now knowing much more about an instrument that's in a completely different key and has different tendencies than the only instrument that I've really ever learned. So, yeah, let's answer these questions. So, what did you enjoy about playing, practicing, learning horn? I think the biggest thing I loved about it was that I could combat an embouchure issue I've been having when I played trumpet with horn really easily, and it gave me some things to think about when I was approaching trumpet. So I have an issue where sometimes my chin isn't entirely flat against my mouth, or my mouthpiece isn't. It creates this little bubble of air, kind of like that. And when I was playing horn, I felt like that didn't really happen as much, or it was much more natural to think about bringing the horn to my face instead of like sometimes I think about putting my face too far into the mouthpiece cup maybe for a trumpet. And I felt like with horn, because you have to bring it to you and you can't really do much because you have a giant circle here. I felt much more comfortable just bringing it to my face and sending my air through, which I think is super key to all brass playing. But playing horn definitely helped clarify that and make it feel more natural. So that's probably the biggest breakthrough I had, and I was really, really excited that I experienced that on this rotation. I also just really loved, I love how the horn sounds. The tone is just so different. It's so different from trumpet and so beautiful. And I've always thought that. And I also liked, challenging my aural skills and, playing an instrument in a different key, playing it in an F versus B flat. That was really, really cool because I've never done that before. And the only other instrument we really learn, it's like you learn the string instruments and you learn, besides woodwind. But a lot of the other instruments we'll learn are just like, it's like piano or mallets or something. It's like a keyboard or it's a C instrument. So it was exciting to learn an instrument in a different key that wasn't just concert pitch. Next question. What did you find frustrating about horn? A little bit at first. I didn't like in F200 playing non-melodic parts because I'm so used to melodic parts, and I just like to play that line. But on the flip side, it was nice to figure out how my part fit in and balance to that, and then really listen for, like, across the ensemble, find the melody in different places, find the bass line, figure out how the horn fits into one of those parts, because it's really easy if you have the melody, you're going to be, probably on tonic and something easy to hear, probably an easier note too on trumpet. And then on horn, it's like, you might not be on that at all. You're going to be on a different note in the chord or something. So that was cool. Frustrating at times because sometimes I'd think I was playing an E and I was playing a G, or think I was playing a G and I was playing an E. That was probably the toughest interval, or C to E. Really, E in general was just really tough for me to hear. But it was fun to finally find it and then find it relative to I usually have to find it relative to the F on the horn, and then I could go down to it and figure it out. But it was cool to figure that out and figure out a way to maybe troubleshoot with the student of if they're having trouble hearing that too, then F's much more common, so find your F. Okay, let's play with that and find how that works. It was just, even though it was frustrating, and I could totally see how a younger student would get frustrated by something like that, it was nice to be able to troubleshoot at the same time. And yeah, the only other thing was just the nearness of the intervals. It's so so not like trumpet. I would like read a G or a C and use the same type of air or setup, and it was like, not even close to the same note. So that was a little frustrating at first, but like I said, it was troubleshooting was fine and figuring it out. It was kind of fun anyway. What helped you become a better brass player and teacher? First of all, learning how to hold the horn. Even though we didn't really detail it until the last week of the rotation, I was doing it wrong, which I didn't realize. I actually had my hand kind of more in a fist on this side, and then when Lisa talked about it, the more like the blade hand a little bit curved, and on the outside, it's like, oh, that makes a lot more sense, and it's a lot more comfortable. And then I felt the sound could just make its way through better, and it definitely helped intonation when we were tuning that one day. So that was great because that's something that I can look for in my students, because I think the natural thing is like, oh, you just put it in there and it doesn't matter. But knowing that and starting them at a younger age with that is going to be so helpful for everyone down the road. Also, all the times we worked on balance in F200, because we had so many French horns on this rotation, like 8 or something, and some really confident players. So we really had to work on balancing that much horn sound and that much brass in general with the small amount of woodwinds in woodwind tech. Figuring out creative ways, I guess, to balance that without, telling the brass players you have to play quiet, because it's really, really hard for beginning brass players especially, to play so quietly. It was just a fun challenge, I think, that definitely opened my eyes as a teacher of like, oh, this is a real situation that could happen. Like, obviously, if you're helping your beginning band students choose an instrument, you might help them lean towards a more balanced ensemble setting, and not start everyone on clarinet or not start everyone on trombone. But I mean, it's real and it could happen. So it was nice to just see that in the works, I guess. And then going back to more on an individual thing, the whole chin flatness thing and the making this air bubble go away, bringing the horn to your face, sending your air through the horn, not putting your face into the horn, and I don't even know the opposite of putting your air through the horn, but just experiencing that in a different way that was less frustrating than what it's been when I'm playing trumpet. It was super helpful and just gave me, I guess, a fresh outlook and a new experience on playing a brass instrument that wasn't this habit that had built up. So that was really exciting because I didn't. It's a tough thing to fix, and I mean, I've been struggling with it for a while, but seeing that, like, okay, it's not perfect, but there is something that I can think of to fix it was just really exciting. And so I've been trying to transfer that over to trumpet playing, and I think it's been helping. So, I mean, if it's helping my trumpet playing, it's making me a better player. So, how do you anticipate next rotation will go? I think it's going to go pretty well. I'm on trombone now. Definitely different than trumpet and horn. I have never done, this is my first rotation of 2 on trombone, and I wanted to do 2 because I don't understand fully the whole slide thing. I get fingers, I get the finger patterns, I get all that, but just the slide is just a little confusing because naturally you would think like, oh, like in a scale, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but like I would think like, every position is just the next note in the scale, but it's actually chromatic. It's going down, and it's just confusing a little bit at first, but it's starting to make more sense even after just one day. But yeah, so that'll be a nice challenge, and I hope to really start to grasp how that works in this rotation, and then when I revisit trombone later in the semester, be able to retain that and be able to just go back to it. I think that would be fun. I mean, I think it'll go well though. I'm interested in trombone. I almost played trombone when I started band, but I didn't like the slide at the time. Still not a big fan of it, but it'll be fun to finally see what it would have been like if I was a trombone player. What do you hope to improve upon in the next rotation? Well, because I'm on trombone, reading bass clef for one, I'm better than I was, but not fluent yet. And it's tough, especially switching, like reading trumpet music all day and then going to something in bass clef is just still tricky. So improving that and hearing notes more accurately. I don't have the best ear training or oral skills. I'm not great at that. I don't have perfect pitch. I don't have any of that. But trombone is a giant slide, and you can't just push down a button and, say, oh, it's going to come out. You have to find where it is. So I think playing this giant tuning slide is really going to help me hear the note that I want and realize, oh, this is how I'm hearing it. And when I go to where I think that is, it's flat or it's sharp. Oh, so I need to hear it here. I think that will be really fun to work on, and probably frustrating at some points, but fun. And how do you plan to practice more effectively? I thought I did a pretty good job of this in the first rotation. Balancing 4 sets of trumpet music with the horn stuff. It was a good amount of stuff I needed to do, but I felt good about it. I think I practice fine, and I think I always try to warm up on every instrument to get a feel for it first before I just pick up the horn and play essential elements, whatever number. So just remembering, warm up, do some fundamentals, just play around with the instrument, have fun with it, discover some things about it. And I think just asking more people that play this instrument as their primary instrument, their opinions on things or what they do, just getting more feedback, not on my personal playing, well, sometimes, but just like what other people think of the instrument that play this instrument already. I didn't ask that. Granted, I don't know that many horn players, so I didn't really know who to ask. I know a couple. I took a lesson with Reed. That went very well, and he answered some of my questions, so that was awesome. And then Dietrich, he also talked to me about horn and playing a couple things. So that was really great. But I definitely want to get more insight on what it's like to be a trombone player and like natural struggles of that and things like that. So I guess that's not really about practicing, but more seeking information. I think that's something I want to do better with. So, yeah, that is my horn reflection. And I'll be playing horn all semester with Young Winds, and it's going to be great. So I'm excited. I'm happy that I did horn first, so that way I can double on that for the program. Yeah. All right. That's it.